Hello everyone and welcome to the Member Quarterly Update. A reminder to take advantage of some member benefits that we have for everyone. We have an employee benefits program for your companies, as well as a staffing and professional services program. Please contact Carrie Wentling, our Director for Member Services, for more information on those programs. Our current Financial Reporting Issues Conference is coming up in November on the 13th and 14th in New York City. We're excited to have the Aetna Chairman and CEO, Mark Bertolini, as well as Johnson & Johnson's Chairman and CEO, Alex Gorski, and the SEC Chief Accountant, Wes Bricker, as our keynotes for this year. We have additional upcoming professional development programs in October and November. On October 12th, we have the Anti-Fraud Skills for Financial Leaders program. And we have an SEC Reporting and Filing Competencies course both on October 16th and 17th, as well as November 7th and 8th in Atlanta and Chicago, respectively. If you're not part of the FEI community on FEI Connect, it's a message board that allows you to ask questions and get those questions answered by your peers. There's no advertising, there's no promotion on this. It's just strictly an online peer-to-peer network. Some hot topics people are talking about lately is health insurance. Bitcoins is a big topic right now. Employee expense reporting software, as well as outplacement services, to name a few. So check it out, FEI Connect on the FEI website. And now I'd like to turn it over to my colleagues who will give you an update on the latest from the technical committees.
For many FEI members, business taxation is an important issue. And as you'd expect, some of our technical committees have been actively involved in the tax reform process as Congress begins consideration of tax legislation that could bring about the biggest changes to the tax code since 1986. Over the summer, members of FEI's Committee on Private Company Policy, the CPCP, traveled to Washington to meet with senior tax staff of the House Ways and Means Committee to provide recommendations on how the tax code can be improved to level the playing field for pass-through entities and other private companies. The committee also provided feedback on transition rules and other tax issues of importance to private companies. The CPCP provided similar information to the Senate Committee on Finance, the other key player in the tax reform process in Washington, D.C. The CPCP is waiting for congressional leaders to release a tax reform framework that will serve as the basis for tax legislation this fall. Once the framework's released, the committee will meet, review it, and develop a strategy to best represent FEI's private company interests in the tax reform debate in the coming months. Our Committee on Taxation, the COT, has also been actively engaged on tax reform. COT provided a set of pro-growth tax policy recommendations to the Senate Finance Committee and has joined other industry groups in calling on the White House and congressional leaders to enact an equitable tax treatment of repatriated earnings. At its September meeting in Washington, D.C., COT members had face-to-face discussions with senior tax counsel from the House Ways and Means Committee and the Senate Finance Committee, where they emphasized the need for real tax reform that will make U.S. companies more competitive, grow the economy, and create jobs. Both the Committee on Private Company Policy and the Committee on Taxation will continue to play an active role in representing FEI members' interests as consideration of tax reform continues in Washington in the coming months.
Between live quarterly meetings, responding to regulatory proposals, and working in ad hoc working group meetings, CCR has had a very active quarter. In mid-September, the committee met on Microsoft's campus for their quarterly CCR meeting. At this meeting, the group was visited by FASB board member Marcia Hunt, who gave an update on regulatory proposals and different changes in the accounting practice. The Microsoft team also gave the committee an update on how data analytics is impacting the role of finance. Finally, Duff & Phelps visited the group and gave an update on the state of the valuation practice. This past quarter, CCR was involved in responding to 3 regulatory proposals. The first proposal was on the SEC's posting on the Federal Register of the PCAOB's new auditor reporting model. In CCR's comment letter, CCR represented the preparer community by detailing the potential impact that the standard would have on issuers. In the comment letter, CCR was deliberate to urge the SEC in undertaking measures for an orderly and effective transition to the new standard should the SEC approve the proposal. In June, the PCAOB proposed two new rules, one related to the auditor's use of specialists and the other related to auditing accounting estimates. CCR responded to both of these proposals, and they represented the preparer community in various ways, such as requesting that the board reconsider some of the implications this proposal would have on the preparer related to increased audit costs. CCR suggested clearing up some areas of apparent ambiguity, and CCR also asked the board to consider the cost-benefit analysis of both proposals. All three of these comment letters are publicly available on the FEI website. CCR subcommittees are actively monitoring their respective groups to respond accordingly to regulatory changes. For example, the Leases Working Group has held over 20 calls this year to address questions that are arising as a result of implementing the new standard. Finally, CCR's PCAOB Standing Subcommittee met with the PCAOB in Washington, D.C. to discuss some of these proposed rule changes, to address some of the new accounting standard changes, and discuss some of the recent inspection report trends. The board agreed to scheduling regular meetings with CCR in the future.
A major focus for the committee in the coming year will be the evolution of the modern financial skill set. As companies and finance departments continue to adopt these new technologies, the skills needed to be a successful financial executive will continue to evolve. That is why the committee is studying this issue to better understand what those new skills are and how will financial executives shift their approach. Some executives are seeking professional development opportunities for themselves and their staff. Meanwhile, others are seeking to hire more technologically skilled and savvy staff and teach them the underlying fundamentals of accounting and finance. The recently released updated COSO integrated framework focuses on integration and highlights the importance of considering risk in both strategy setting and driving performance. To keep FEI members informed, CGRC will be working on a series of FEI daily articles, as well as potential future content to address how the need for innovation and the impact of disruption should be factored into a company's ERM efforts.